Hari Om, Master.
Yeah.
How should we look at Tridev, Holy Trinity?
Okay. See, there had been a lot of things which are already spoken about Holy Trinity on this land. So, Holy Trinity, when we speak of, so we are talking of three Dev, means we are talking of three Dev. Three means three, the three number, and we're talking of the Dev. Dev means the light beings. So we are talking of three light beings. So three light beings, how they work, and what exactly these three beings are. So Holy Trinity in the Varn Vidya, it is shown as the Tra, like Tra, the Tra Varn, and in English it is represented by the capital E. So E with three vertical lines, you know. So these are like, it is shown as three. So these are like three functionalities. So which in many other cultures also, like in Christianity, it is like also mentioned as Holy Trinity. So Holy Trinity is basically, these are like the three functionalities, and these are the higher functionalities. These are like three higher functionalities in this reality. So if you will look at the beings, like every being in this reality, specifically the spirits, because the spirituality, the word spirituality has a root word spirit. So spirituality is for the spirits. So that means there are non-spirits also. So we have to leave the non-spirits, the kshara beings, and we have to consider the spirits, the akshara. So the spirits, the Jivatma, the spirit beings are into spirituality, and they are finding their spirituality, the true path on the land, the path that they should walk, they should practice, they should live on earth as, and reach as to their higher functionality. So their highest functionality, which is very popular in this world today, you will see it is popularized in this reality with the word higher self, because there is a self which is you, and there is a higher self which is your higher functionality. Like for a Jivatma, the higher functionality is Atma. For Atma, the higher functionality is Param Atma. So the Holy Trinity marks the higher functionality. Suppose the first functionality is Brahma. So Brahma principle is the functionality of these two eyes, the two physical eyes. So the Brahma principle, it represents the functionality of the physical world, the physical creation. So with these two physical eyes, one should be able to see the physical creation. So when you know the depth of creation, when you realize the depth of this creation, when you can see through the metrics, what exactly this world is, what I have mentioned as the samsara darshan. So when you are able to see what exactly this world is, and what systems are being carried out on this earth, on this land, so that power in your eyes, when you gain, you reach onto that level with your uh, code of conduct, and with your behavior, with your upliftment of your uh, functionalities, and with your discipline. That is when you reach onto the principle Brahma. So Brahma is the physical eyes principle, means the creation principle, the creation which is just exactly in front of all of us, the physical creation. And that physical creation can only be seen through the trained physical eyes. So training of the physical eyes to see the physical creation is the first functionality of the Holy Trinity. And then in the second functionality, the Holy Trinity, the second functionality is Shiva, the Shiva functionality. So Shiva principle is the third eye principle, because you see the functionality of Shiva. So a being, a Jivatma, a spirit can be a third eye being or a three-eyed being, means a being who can see the physical functionality, the physical creation with the physical eyes, as well as the being can see what exactly is happening beyond this physical reality. So how the astral world is working, how the other realms are connecting to this world, how the whole yantra is working, how the elementals are working, how the dark forces and the light forces are working together in this reality, right? So that is the functionality of the third eye. So that is the three-eyed being. Shiva functionality means above the level of the two eyes, what all is happening. So in the physical reality is just like the level of the physical creation, but above the level of the physical eyes is the astral world and the worlds above. So that's what your Shiva functionality is. So a being can, elevate oneself to a level where they can actually see what is happening in this reality and then beyond this reality. Then other than that, the third functionality, the third principle is Vishnu principle, which is about the perfection principle. It is the principle of complete freedom. It is the principle of total merging into the divinity, total perfection. So total freedom, total perfection, because it's a perfection principle. It is the principle of Shri. Shri means perfection. So Brahma is the creation principle, the principle of two eyes, and then Shiva is the third eye principle, and then Sahasrar is the Vishnu principle, which is the perfection principle. So that's how the Holy Trinity is. And it's not about the beings anywhere. It is about Jeev Atma evolving, progressing to the level of the creation principle, then third eye principle, and then merging into the perfection principles. So this is how the Holy Trinity has to be seen. Yeah.
Grateful we. How shall we look at Shiva principle?
Okay. So it's very simple. Like I mentioned about the third eye. So Shiva is a three-eyed being. It's a third eye principle. So wherever there are two-eyed beings in this reality, so we all know they are like normal humans, normal mankind. But Shiva is having one extra eye. So it is very simple to note that third eye is just like the third umpire in a cricket match. So it is just like it can see through what the normal umpire cannot see, the normal beings cannot see. It is to sense what is happening beyond the level of this world. And then at the same time, third eye is the eye of vision. It is the eye of the wisdom. It is the eye of knowledge. So when these two eyes are uh, making a being to see this reality, the physical reality. So third eye is called the Gnan Chakshu. Gnan Chakshu means the eye of knowledge. That is why it is in Sanskrit, this center is called Agnya. Agnya means the center of obedience. Agnya means the center of obedience. Obedience, now who obeys what and who obeys whom? So the wise being would obey wisdom. So third eye is all about wisdom. It is all about knowledge. And then you see Shiv. Shiv is a being with three eyes. Then at the same time, it is the man with the hair lock. It's man with the hair locks who is holding Gnan Ganga, the Ganga which is pouring from the celestial plane. So the Gnan Ganga, which is pouring from the celestial plane, only a three-eyed being, okay, only a third eye being can only hold the Gnan Ganga in the hair locks and then control its flow. So that means there is an immense transmission of knowledge, the immense transmission of wisdom which is happening, immense flow of information in the world. Now there is difference between information and knowledge, but when there is immense flow of the information and knowledge happening in this reality, so it becomes at most important and indispensable to realize that one has to control, hold, and channel what is required, and then leave what is not required. So one has to really leave it. So what is not required, one has to leave, and what is required, and it is required for you to exit out of this matrix. That should be utilized, that should be put into practice. Similarly, so a third eye being Shiva, he holds Gnan Ganga in his hair locks, and then he controls and allows the wisdom to pour. And that is the reason you see in the normal physical visible world, the Shiva Lingam is shown as the just like the pineal gland. It is exactly the same. So Shiv Lingam is the pineal gland. The moment you say the word Shiv Lingam, that means we are talking about the third eye. We are talking about the third eye functionality. So if you look at the outside world, Shiv Lingam, it is just same as the third eye. So third eye represents the Shiv Lingam, and then the Shiv Lingam is basically a protruded, the grown active third eye, the pineal gland. So the word lingam simply means type, kind of. So when we speak of the word lingam, so they can be Jyotirlingam, that means the kind of light. So Strilingam is kind of female. So when we talk of Shivalingam, means we are talking of a type of Shiva, the representative of Shiva, which in Sanskrit they call as pratik, the significator or representative. So Shivlingam is the representative of the third eye. But you see, what exactly is happening in this reality? So today the reality is completely reversed. You know, it is completely a reversed reality where the significations are completely reversed, and then they are like put into play as a part of the deception. So people are not realizing what is happening. They're speaking something else and they are accepting something else. Like for explanation of Shiva, when we speak of the word Karpura Gauram, okay, so when we sing Shiva Stuti, so we say the third eye being has to be white like camphor. Okay, so a third eye being Shiva has to be a white being, and the tone has to be like camphor. So he's a white man, he's not a black man. So in this reality, you see the black Shiva is popularized. And then there are multiple reasons which are given for it, which are absolutely a part of deception. It is a utter deception in front of the spirits, and spirits have no consciousness today to realize the fact, because it is related to some godly figure or some divine connection is shown to the world. So they accept whatever is placed in front of the reality. And then because the black stone worship, they don't know from where it is coming. Similarly, the phallus worship is just like a black stone worship, which is happening in the reality. But in the ancient Shivalingam, the third eye, the pineal gland functionality was never shown in the black stone, but it was always white stone or in the Mercurian way, which is called the Parad Shivlingam. So it was shown in that way. Now anyone speaks of Parad, they'll be now saying, okay, that means the man is true. But there are multiple more facts around it, which has to come along rather than just going by this fact. So black stone worship and black Shiva is a deception in this reality, and people have to really wake up, because Shiva is Karpura Gauram Karunavataram. So he is the avatar of his Karuna avatar of being compassionate, and then he is Karpura Gauram. He's not a black being. And then you see in many of the organized spirituality in the world, the word Krishna is all about being dark, black, and the white Krishna is popularized. So this whole thing is like reversed in the world today, and people are not realizing what exactly they are, accepting. And anything on the name of God, especially in our country, Bharat, is acceptable just because it is related to Shiva or Krishna or Vishnu or any goddess. So it is well accepted, but nobody wants to go with the fact and what exactly is happening in this reality. Because like in the last couple of years that I've spent on Earth, while I'm traveling this reality and visiting this plane, and I'm seeing what exactly is happening here, and coming from the outside land, outside realm, and you see what exactly happens here. It's like the immediate difference you can notice, that how people are being fooled and how people are like deceived on the name of education, on healthcare, on currency, on the governments, authorities, the leaders, the spirituality as a whole. what is being popularized in the last 100, 200 years. And that is being like a planned deception, and the techniques like fantasy techniques where people are just like imagining and visualizing I don't know what. So if people will continue to live like this, they will be like trapped in this reality forever. And today you see, when knowledge is available on this land and the vibration of the whole earth is changing, so ignorance is a self-chosen thing. It's a choice. So ignorance, to be a part of the mass hypnotism, to be a part of the mass circus, is a choice that the beings have in their hands right now. So whether they continue to be a part of that mass ignorance and they continue rejecting knowledge and continue to run away from knowledge, is not going to help any being. So today in the world, no one can stop the flow of knowledge, and that will happen for sure. People have to listen today or tomorrow. Like I've always said, it's a do or do. There is no other choice people have in their hands right now. And then at the same time, it's like a golden opportunity in the hands of people. So they have to really accept what is coming up their way, and they have to stop being like uh, ignorance by their own choice. So ignorance is not going to be a bliss anymore, and people have to really make a choice. And then you see, in the deception goes in such a way, the aushadhis become like the drugs in this reality. The aushadhi, when Shiva, the Shivaratri is celebrated in the country, the whole country and the whole world, you see the nature itself produce such aushadhis. So that is those uneducated, illiterate people who have just been kept in dark since the time they have been born in this reality, and they're popped out here. So they are completely kept in dark, and they call aushadhis as drugs and drugs as medicine. and you see the nature itself shows the things very clearly, loud and clear, that the third eye being utsav or celebration is completely shown fully in the blossom in the nature. The psychedelics, the whole plant kingdom celebrates it. It is everywhere at the same time, because the eyes are so blinded and mesmerized, hypnotized and deceived, that they can't see that what exactly is coming up, and how nature actually is responding with those aushadhis automatically without being saying it, and without anyone sowing the seeds. So it is just by itself. So the aushadhis related to Shiva, which people like offer to the Shivlingam as an external ritual, they should know how to use it for their own enlightenment, so that they are no more deceived in this reality. And you see, they offer this aushadhi, or like cannabis or the dura or these plants as an offering to Shivlingam, but they continue to sit with their closed eyes. Two physical eyes are being closed for like n number of times in a day, and they call it meditation. So that is the foolishness that has happened. That is how the Sanatani roots are completely cut and chopped off from like centuries. And then you see the third eye it's always protected. Like I had been saying here on the land from last couple of years, that what gives me immense happiness, solace, and joy is that knowledge is protected. Knowledge, the fountain of knowledge, just like the fountain of youth, is so well protected that not everyone can reach there. So everyone cannot reach there. So everyone cannot put their hands into it. Every spirit also cannot access it until they are really worthy for it. That is what the snake over a Shivlingam represents, that the third eye is being completely protected by the snakes. The snake energy protects, safeguards the real wisdom of the third eye being. So nobody can just reach that. And you see, then another deception which is there related to Shiva is about being a blue god. Shiva is not a blue god. He is only Neelkant, a man with a blue kant, the neck portion. He's not a blue god. He's a white man with a blue neck, and and a third eye. That's what a three-eyed man has to have. It's like a very simple thing. And then another thing, you see, people will continue using the sandalwood paste on Shivlingam, but they don't know how to use it when it comes. Like when your third eye is opening, it is like, it is growing, you're evolving to be a third eye being, from the two-eyed man to a three-eyed man. So that time you have to really use Chandan, sandalwood paste, because it helps soothe your third eye energy. That is how it is used. But when you're evolving at that level, not like the external ritual of offering it to the external black stone or a phallus. So there are ways where you use that phallus also in a way, but has to be some meaningful thing than just like a wish fulfillment criteria or a wish fulfillment ritual that you want to just settle on earth. You see, the Shiva, he himself is not a settled being as per the earthly norms. He's a yogi. He gets married. He has to stay away from his wife. Okay, then he again gets it another birth. Then he again has to stay away. So that is what a yogi has to go through on this land. It is very simple. You look at the life of Ram. You look at any being on this land. So they have to go through any three-eyed man, any being with the three eyes has to go through certain progression path. So it remains the same with everyone. So in the earthly norms, you want to settle just by going to a man who himself is gracing the being to not to settle in this earthly realm. So that is what it represents. So people have to really wake up and see what is exactly Shiva and who is Shiva, what its functionality is, like the Rudrashtakam or Shiv Panchakshari. It gives a clear significance of how a three-eyed man has to be. It gives the characteristics of a three-eyed man. So whosoever would have three eyes or the third eye active would have to have those qualities. Like a third eye man has to have Giragnan Goti Tamisham Girisham. So one has to have Giragnan. Giragnan means the knowledge of the speech, Vani. Goti means has to be away from like the functionality of the five senses, Gotit. So that is what makes Shiva. Shiva means a man who is completely dead to the world, but still active within. Ishava. He is a dead man, Shav, to the world, but active E, Shakti. So E is the Shakti of the spine. So which is shown by the Badi E in Devanagari. So double E in English, we can say. So he's that being. So three-eyed man has a lot of functionality, and people today, they sing whatever when it comes to Shiva, like on the occasion of Shivaratri, people would sing Shiv Tandav Stotram. So which is like a different stuti. It is a song of some other occasion, not of Shivaratri. So the common sense has been completely, lost. It is completely nowhere. People are not realizing what they're doing, because on Shivaratri night, the song of the merging of Parvati and Shiva means your spirit and reaching the third eye, that has to be celebrated. So that has to be recited, that has to be spoken. Then singing something which shows that they are separating. so this common sense has to come in people, what exactly they're doing outside, and what is happening in this reality. So you are here on this land, you should know what is happening around, and that only can happen once you see above the level of the two physical eyes. So, and that can only happen once one trains the two physical eyes to a level where one knows what is not worth attention in this reality. And then you just move on to the third eye. That becomes very easy. So this is what Shiva is all about. That's all.